Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
Well, we start today in Green Bay. Let me give Aaron Rodgers the same advice he loves to give Packers fans. RELAX. Relax. The Packers are 3-0, headed into their Thursday night football showdown against a desperate and snake-bitten Eagles squad that has lost 2 of its first 3 games. But Rodgers sounds like the quarterback staring up at the undefeated Cowboys rather than the QB sitting atop the NFC North.
It's time for us to do our part on offense moving forward. We're going to play some, a stretch of really good football teams. And at some point, we can't expect our defense to shut everybody down. They have been. But at some point, the offense is going to have to wake up and start making some plays.
I get it. Green Bay is averaging 19 points per game and just 4 points in the second half. Through 3 games, Rodgers has thrown for about half as many yards as Patrick Mahomes. Green Bay's pedestrian offense has been good enough to beat Mitch Trubisky, Kirk Cousins, and Joe Flacco. But starting tomorrow night, Rodgers is going to square off with a string of offenses led by QBs better than that trio: Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Phillip Rivers, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Rodgers is on edge. He's in a new relationship with head coach and play caller Matt LaFleur. Rodgers has never been carried by his defense. It's uncomfortable. It's beneath his considerable talent.
We've never wanted to just manage the football game around here, so the standards are very high for us. We got to play a lot better on offense. We've played some good defenses, no doubt about it, but the standard and expectations are very high here, and we haven't met them on offense.
Let me repeat, RELAX, Aaron. Don't put unnecessary pressure on LaFleur or your teammates. And here's why. Aaron Rodgers is still Clark Kent. If it becomes necessary for Rodgers to step into a phone booth, put on a red cape, paint an S on his chest, he can do that. I don't have any doubt in my mind Rodgers can start audibly going off script and scoring points. But it's too early to do that. No reason to force anything. Play mistake-free, avoid turnovers, and let LaFleur figure things out. Don't get antsy. Rodgers' comments will make people think he's dissatisfied with his new coach. It comes across like he's saying LaFleur isn't meeting the standard Rodgers set previously. Relax, Aaron. The Packers are right where you need them to be. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analysts Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington. Marcellus, I'll start with you.
Yes.
Is Aaron Rodgers putting unnecessary pressure on his new head coach?
No, he's not. Aaron Rodgers has realized offensively the check engine light is on. So I'm not going to wait for this car to break down before everybody starts to panic. Aaron Rodgers, being the genius he is at this position, realizes that 2 metrics in particular is telling him this is not sustainable and this offense is going to let our team down. One is the Packers are 3rd worst in the NFL in 3rd down percentage. Woo-wee. That ain't good, brother. You know why? That's the money down. And if you're not good on the money down, sooner or later you're going to run out of some money. And the other metric is 2nd most 3-and-outs in the league. That ain't good. In company with the Jets and the Cardinals. So think about this. They have the 2nd best scoring defense, and they're realizing, at least Aaron Rodgers has, we're going to wear these dudes out. This is not sustainable. We're going to kill them because we're not sustaining drives. We're getting off the field too often. And what's going to end up happening? This seesaw effect of where that defense is going to start to feel this pressure, and they're going to cave. What are we going to do then? So beyond all the personality, motivations that Aaron Rodgers has, he's actually looking at the analytics. He's actually looking at his roster, and offensively is saying, we better fix this or else.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'll give you another word, HONEST, honest, because that's what he is. We're going to have to be a heck of a lot better as an offense than we are right now. I look at the Packers as kind of the dynasty that never was. right? You had Favre for 15 years. You won one world championship with him. You've had Aaron Rodgers for 14 years now, and you've won one world championship with him. You've had two of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game, and you as a franchise have two world championships
Let me ask you this,
over a 30-year period.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you
this.
You think Matt LaFleur isn't aware of the stats Marcellus rattled off? You think Matt LaFleur is lying to himself?
No, I went deep with those. Nobody knows that. I mean, I'm just telling you.
No. I know that Matt, I know that he knows that. But listen, man, just because you got the Oda McVay on you, right? Just because you rubbed up against McVay and got some of his cologne on you doesn't make you ready to coach. Woo. So there's a lot of those guys in this league right now that got jobs because they rubbed up against McVay. So you know what? You rubbed up against him. Now it's time for you to get that offense going. And if you and your quarterback don't see eye to eye, you know what you better do? You better figure out how to make you and your quarterback see eye to eye. How about that?
How about that?
I just think Matt LaFleur is aware that they're struggling, and there's no reason for the most talented quarterback in the league other than Pat Mahomes to breathe life into that.
When you're new and you're rebuilding or you're building for the first time what it is that you're going to do as a team, the offense lags. The offense historically is always behind.
Yeah.
Is there too much pressure on him? No, there's not too much pressure on him. Everybody stated the obvious. I mean, add Lombardi into that. You come in as a head coach in Green Bay, before you take one snap, I don't care who your quarterback is, who your franchise player is. Lombardi was the coach there. You're in Title Town, the Cheeseheads, Green Bay Packers. It's not too much pressure on them. But the reality of it is that you played some quality teams. This was not a pushover, a breeze through 3 games. The Bears, they have one of the most premier pass rushers and defenses. The Vikings have premier players and premier pass rushers on their team. The Broncos have premier pass rushers on their team. You're talking about 3 very, very, now even though the Broncos are failing to launch this year, they are still a talented, gifted defense. So to say that, we got to do better, I think he's just taking ownership over what they need to do moving forward. And LaFleur would be best served. Why not? Why not?
I mean, he's not taking ownership because, again, when you say we have a standard here, Matt LaFleur was no part of that. So basically, he's telling Matt LaFleur and breathing life into life, we're not meeting the standards and the things that Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy have done here previously. So I don't hear ownership. I hear like there's a new element and it's not meeting our standards.
But even yet and still, maybe not ownership over the way LaFleur may be guiding the offense or the way he wants the offense to be, but taking ownership over whether you're right or wrong with your point. He's still taking ownership over, we have to find what it is that's going to work for us in this scenario. And I think that's the ownership part of it. And LaFleur would be best served to figure out what that is. Find that formula.
Yeah, but that is still going to be digested as pressure. And he is putting pressure on his head coach, in part because he's feeling pressure. Let's just be real about that. The psychological approach, if you're Aaron Rodgers the Great, right now, you're feeling the pressure of, wait, I'm in a new system. And in a new system, I'm lagging behind some of the other greats who are out there still getting it. And if you look at this situation, he's applying the Kobe mentality. And Kobe's mentality always was, I want to win, but I also want to be the reason why. And if you think about it, Aaron Rodgers is like, look, I can't be going out there throwing 230 yards and we scraping by in victories with this defense-led team, even though it can accumulate to team success. Last time Green Bay had a top 10 defense, you know what happened? They won the Super Bowl 2010. So in all, it can work. But right now, Aaron Rodgers is feeling like there are young guys who are coming up, getting attention, cachet, Q rating. There are guys who've already been here, and they are still winning. And now I'm in this struggle system that is giving us the wins and losses, but not giving me my shine.
Personnel, too, though. It's new personnel. A lot of the success that Aaron Rodgers was having, you have a receiver that was a quarterback, a very cerebral and a very smart quarterback playing receiver, and Randall Cobb. All right, you got Jordy Nelson, who was a super cerebral guy. Let's not put all of this on Aaron Rodgers as to why he had so much success during that run. You had some very, very intelligent guys out there on your staff.
You didn't have Matt LaFleur.
So let's look at this offense, because I know this offense well. One of the issues that I think Aaron Rodgers probably has with this offense is this offense believes that they have all the answers written into the offense. So we don't need to give our quarterback the opportunity to change plays. You heard Aaron Rodgers talk about this in the offseason. Man, I got 11 years of starting, or whatever it is, 12 years of starting, and 12 years of knowledge of what defenses are doing. Why can I not use that knowledge? So there has to be a melding together of these two basic philosophical approaches, because in this offense, it's more about, all right, we have this play, we're going to run it, we'll can it with this play if we get a certain look. That's how it's run. So you've got two plays and say, we either run this or we can it. And a lot of what they want to do is get up the line of scrimmage, regardless of what you give us as a defense, we're running our stuff. And the answers are built in. And in this day and age of football, a lot of these quarterbacks want to be in shotgun and go, let me pick what we want to do. And there's a struggle there that goes on between quarterbacks of this day and age and coaches that want to run this system. And they have to find a happy medium where we can still do what the coach wants, but occasionally we got to come out there in no huddle and let me be in control for a series, right?
I'm going to call an audible here and throw y'all.
Oh, man, Matt LaFleur said not to do that.
I'm going to do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to tell you the reason why. You made me do it. I was going to save this until tomorrow. But you took me down there. Let's analyze the personality of Aaron Rodgers. I think Marcellus hinted at it. But I think there is some jealousy issues here. Patrick Mahomes is setting a new standard at quarterback, and he is now the most talented quarterback in the league. Tom Brady is 42 years old, playing like he's 32. And I do think there's some ego involved here, and I want to get my numbers like these other guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I didn't hint at it. I said that, damn it. Don't be trying to go over here regurgitate. No, I love this. His mentality, all right, I know Aaron Rodgers in this sense. He's looking at the landscape. And in the landscape, let's just be real. Tom Brady balling, Russell Wilson balling, Breeze and Big Ben are hurt, but still, you got to respect them. And then all of a sudden, there's this other tier of Dak Prescott out there getting it. Patrick Mahomes, as we know, he's tier one. And then there's these guys like Daniel Jones. What is that? Minshew, what's that? Kyle Allen, Deshaun Watson, what's this? You can't poke a hole in the resume just yet. So you add that up, then you add up what Bucky Brooks has shown to all of us, a line of demarcation, a before Aaron Rodgers and an after Aaron Rodgers. And he knows his expiration date is somewhere on the horizon. Who knows when? He turns 36 this year. And then you start adding all that up, and you out here throwing for 230 yards. You're like, wait a minute. Don't forget how we even got here. Don't even forget why this is an attractive destination.
Don't get rid of me.
Don't get rid of me to go get this.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Aaron Rodgers is.
That's pretty deep, man. When you look at it from that perspective and you say, wow, when you do, because, look at what happened to Favre. The show must go on in Green Bay. So now it makes more sense.
I want to bear down on this, and then, Mark, I want you to jump in, because LeVar, at one time, coming out of high school and college, you were a guy that was like, man, this dude could be
the best.
Of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He can be right there with
Mike
Singletary, Dick Butkus, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers just 2 or 3 years ago was in the conversation as the GOAT. Yeah. He's no longer in the conversation as the GOAT. I don't even think it's a negative, but it's a reality. He wants to fix that.
Well, I think the bigger issue here, even more so than being recognized and being in the conversation as the GOAT, is you can't phase me. Do not position me to phase me out of here based upon the lack of production. Because now
nobody phasing him out.
Well, think about it. If there is a lack of production and the team is not as successful as it needs to be at that age, it very well could happen.
Right.
That show's still going to go on.
Aaron Rodgers is not in the same place that Peyton Manning was when Gary Kubiak took over the offense in Denver. And Peyton Manning ended up, going to the bench because of his neck and his arm and had some issues health-wise. And at the time when he went to the bench, I think he had 9 touchdowns versus 15 interceptions or something of that nature, like in week 9. And he sat out for like 7 games, and Brock Osweiler came in and won, and then eventually they made that turn back at the end of the season throughout the playoffs. But when you look at that season, Peyton Manning got a second championship ring, but Von Miller was the Super Bowl MVP. Like, there came a time when Kubiak and Manning were butting heads over the way we're calling this offense, and Manning was like, this is not what I run. I don't like this. And eventually, that came to a head. Now, like I've said before, and I think they will work on this, they've got to come to some happy medium, some agreement offensively where Rodgers can still do some of the things he wants to do, but you still get what you need as a coach.
Would you be upset with him if he were concerned or at all motivated about his legacy? Would that bother you?
Yeah, because to me, it's like building your brand as opposed to building your career. Like, we talk about this on the Twitter and the social media feeds, like I say all the time, the guy who dies with the most Twitter followers is dead. He's just dead, right? So my big thing is your legacy will be much greater or much more enhanced with world championships. Like I said, the dynasty that never was, with one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever watched play, who has won world championship with that top-ranked defense, right?
Yeah, I push back on that. One, they are phasing them out. Let's just be clear and definitive about that.
Come on now.
Here's the numbers. 647 yards, which is almost half of Patrick Mahomes, is the second lowest total of his career through 3 games. 2, 57 completions is the lowest total that he's had in 10 years. 28th in offense, 24th in number of plays ran. Here's the thing. When they had that audible argument this summer over we're audible and we're not, I already knew they were going to have beef. I just knew this was going to come to a head. This is reminding me of Carmelo Anthony. Remember Carmelo Anthony let me talk. Carmelo Anthony got scrutinized because he was going out there saying,
compared Aaron Rodgers to Melo?
Yeah, I can do that.
Both Hall of Fame.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Carmelo ain't top 50. Carmelo went out there and had a mindset that I'm going to give you 30 points. I'm giving you buckets in service to a win. Without my 30, I don't think we're going to win. So I'm going to get mine and we're going to win. I think Aaron Rodgers is thinking the same thing. He's like, look, if you run through me, we're going to win. I have won a Super Bowl, Matt LaFleur, you haven't, but it's going to be in service to winning. I don't think that they contradict.
You take the first 3 weeks of the season. Yeah. You played a defense in Chicago that's one of the all-time defenses, and you played a defense in Minnesota that's got guys that have been together for 7 years that all have 6 and 8 years to get, like, all on their second contract. Oh, yeah. You played 2 elite-level defenses, so let's
don't
pump
buy
the brakes on that.
Out.
You know?
Yeah,
I don't either.
It could end up. It could go down that road.
You phase out Kerry Washington when you have something better lined up.
Dang.
How about freedom? Sometimes you phase them out because you're like, you know what? I just want the freedom.
These numbers are lined up. Before I'm phasing out an all time.
Yeah, it's called my defense. I'm dating this defense right now. I'm in love with this defense. I'm in with you, Aaron.
Hey guys, this is Jason Whitlock from Speak for Yourself. Are you ready for what's ahead? You can't always predict the future, but you can game plan for it. Generations of families and businesses have harnessed the power of Pacific to help them reach their unique goals. Whether you need to save enough money to meet your needs, ensure your family is protected, or make sure you don't run out of money, Pacific Life has a variety of financial solutions that can help. Pacific Life counts more than half of the 100 largest U.S. companies as its clients and has been named one of the 2019 world's most ethical companies by the Ethisphere Institute. Protecting what matters most to people for 150 years and counting? That's the power of Pacific. Ask a financial professional about how Pacific Life can help you game plan for the future, or visit pacificlife.com.
Mark Slareth and LeVar Arrington are back. It's time for that dude's dude. What you got?
You know I got love for the big uglies up front right here, the unheralded. We make it all happen. Let's start off with the Texans D tackle, DJ Reader, number 3. Easy Reader. DJ Reader Gets by Dan Feeney to sack Phillip Rivers. Oh, man. Look how he lined up on the inside. Oh, Dan Feeney, you fell for it. New calculation. Quickly reads this and diagnoses the punch. And recalculates on yourself. Reader clubs him with the right arm. Then he holds him off with the left arm. Look at that right there. Great job by Reader to put his arm up. Feeney tries to hang on to Reader. You know what they do. They all hold Hunt.
Yank him down. Yank him down. What are you doing?
Reader already read that play. He by the offensive lineman. Phillip Rivers on the ground. That's our number 3, that dude of the week. Now let's go to my former team, Cowboys defensive end Demarcus Lawrence. About to put somebody in the spin cycle. Gonna see Demarcus Lawrence use the spin. Lord! Get to Josh Rosen. Been working on a double move all summer, he said. We see it right here. Lawrence dances in. He sets up the outside move, but this is really gonna be a double move as he gets his hands on Jamarcus Webb. And now he's in a horrible position. Look at Jamarcus Webb with that leg all locked up. Puts him in a spin cycle. Oh, I don't know where he's going with the second move. I know. He's going to finish off and get to Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen's like, damn, put me back on the bench. I thought we were tanking. What is going on here? Marcus Lawrence. Go back to UCLA, number 2 dude.
Pray for some of this madness.
And this is the best play maybe in NFL history. LSU senior offensive lineman Adrian McGee. He ain't even in the NFL. He in college, but guess what? This is the best play I've ever seen. You're going to see him lower the boom, not once, but twice to get the huge completion down the field. Now, there's a vacancy at this hotel in front of McGee, so he's looking for somebody to block. Let me scan the field. I spot a defender on Vandy. Dayo, whatever your last name is, Dayo. Hey-oh! Take that.
Good night.
What's up now, partner?
Dayo ain't gonna work here no more.
Look at that dead cockroach on the ground. Ooh-wee. Adrian's looking around. Okay, I ain't done. Hands down. Look at his hands down. You know he got into a couple street fights before.
He ain't done.
And then he ain't done. Oh, my God. He found another Vanderbilt defender to put on the ground. Then he hit him with that George Jefferson. Get off the field. Adrian McGee, you know who you are. My favorite player ever.
Oh, that was great.
Ever.
Thank you, Marcellus. All right, let's move to a big story about some big-name quarterbacks. We've seen some amazing quarterback play so far this year, from Patrick Mahomes picking up where he left off to Dak Prescott taking his game to a whole new level. Even still, Pro Football Focus actually just ranked 42-year-old Tom Brady number 1 on its list of NFL quarterbacks. Brady topped Dak, who came in at number 2, with Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson rounding out the top 5. Somehow, Patrick, my homie, came in at number 6. Has Brady really been the best QB in the NFL so far?
No, he hasn't. But let's just respect these Pro Football Focus rankings. There's not a huge disparity when you talk about 1 through 5. Like the numbers are small increments. But I think this is really being something that's focusing on the comfort, the continuity, and what Tom Brady has in his system. He's very efficient. We know Tom Brady's one of the best, but very efficient. Not too many errant throws. But look, he's been with his offensive coordinator. McDaniel's been in that room for 13 years. Big Ben is hurt. Drew Brees is hurt. Mahomes, not even 2 full years in that same system. Russell Wilson, only 1 year plus in that same system. So I think this is just something that's attributed to, I'm familiar. My system is back of the hand. So I am more efficient, especially in the early goings of a football season.
Yeah, I have no idea how they rate these things, but anytime I look at what Mahomes is doing, on schedule is throw for 6,000 yards and about 58 touchdowns, and he's at number 6. Like, I got to look at the ratings and go, come on, guys. Like, and sometimes it's about, well, you're throwing balls accurately, but you're not taking chances with the football. Patrick Mahomes makes throws that nobody else can make in the National Football League. I mean, how do you rate that? And the guy's got 10 touchdown passes. He's got 0 interceptions. 2 of the teams that he's played, one is Jacksonville. We know how good that defense is. One is Baltimore. So, I mean, how do you factor that in? Like, the problem that I have with a lot of the rating systems is you're comparing apples to oranges, and then you're saying to me they're the same thing. They're not the same thing. So I just completely disagree. What's that?
Both taste like chicken.
Yeah. Listen, I think that obviously Mahomes should be the number 1 guy. I think the list is, it's probably crunching a whole lot of statistics and numbers that maybe lead to this, but the reality of it is that this list is off. Mahomes should be number 1. Dak is comfortable at 2. Russell, Deshaun, you take your pick for the next ones in line.
I don't have a problem with it because I think over the course of 16 games, Patrick Mahomes is going to finish above Tom Brady. I think Marcellus is correct in terms of Brady's in a system he's very familiar with. Brady's played 3 teams that have yet to win a game. So he's faced much easier competition, and he should be ranked this high based on the competition. If you're beating up on LeVar's high school team, why wouldn't you be rated that high? So I don't have a huge problem with it. I think over the course of the year, Mahomes is going to be on top. This number to see Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Patrick Mahomes all in the top 6, though. I take some pride in that.
I know you do. And look, I got respect for this as well. No one up here, I don't think, is watching a game and computing adjustable completion percentage. We're not, but they are.
Right.
Errant throws, potential turnovers.
Yes.
That counts against Patrick Mahomes. If you've seen his games,
he takes chances.
He takes chances, some dropped interceptions. That's all part of their formula.
Do you have a favorite NFL team or player? How much better do you think they play and recover with good quality sleep? More than 1,800 NFL players are now sleeping on Sleep Number beds. Sleep Number is the smartest choice for better sleep and the best bed for couples. Sleep Number beds allow you to adjust on each side to your ideal firmness, comfort, and support. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you sleeping comfortably through the night. With Sleep IQ technology inside the bed, it tracks how you're sleeping so you can know every morning how well you've slept, plus gain insights for your best sleep. Experience the smart, effortless comfort of Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Find your competitive edge with proven quality sleep from $999. Sleep Number is the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. You'll only find Sleep Number at one of their 575 Sleep Number stores nationwide. Find the one nearest you at sleepnumber.com/cadence. That's sleepnumber.com/CADENCE.
Joined now by the IBF welterweight champion, Errol Spence Jr., who will take on the WBC champ, Sean Porter, Saturday night at the Staples Center. Errol, smart man, comes on this show rather than Colin Cowherd's show. We got all the mojo here.
There it is.
Look, I would say you look like $1 million, but I look at that watch and I got to go $1.5 million.
There it is. A lot of people got knocked out for that, huh?
Was a victim.
Look, OBJ has been wearing a watch into combat. You gonna wear that Saturday?
I can't break this one.
Can't break that one, man. Oh, man. First of all, I'm fired up for the fight. I will be in attendance with my wife, who's a big fan of yours. But for those out there who's going to watch this fight, pay-per-view, Saturday night, why should they be fired up for this fight? Remember, we're talking about one of the best, if not the best, versus a guy, Sean Porter, much respect. Yeah. 2 losses. It seems like maybe a separation in class.
No, not necessarily. This is a unification fight. Sean Porter, he's a WBC champion. I'm the IBF champion. And if you know Sean Porter's style, it's a rough style. It's rugged. He comes forward. He throws a lot of punches.
Now, you said all that. You say all that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you also said you're going to knock him out.
Yeah.
So now are you promoting or you tell me how you really feel about this?
Oh, I'm definitely going to knock him out, but it's going to be an entertaining fight. Like I said, Sean Porter has a lot of heart. He's a guy that's going to come forward. He's going to give it all he's got. But I'm definitely looking for the knockout come Saturday night.
Errol, that's what makes you different than a lot of guys. I even go back to Sugar Ray Leonard, who was one of my favorite fighters of all time, but you're skilled with power. That separates you from a lot of guys that I tend to think you are going to knock him out, but you've called Sean a dirty fighter. Will you have to make any adjustments because you believe he's a dirty fighter?
No adjustments at all. If he get dirty, I might do little things in there that make him think about being dirty again. So I'm not worried about him being dirty, using his elbows over his head and stuff like that. We got a game plan for everything that he tries to do.
Now, when you see him and for you to make that proclamation, I'm going to knock him out, what about him? What about his style? What have you seen that says, okay, he's susceptible for that?
He's been knocked down before. He's been knocked down a couple of times by Ugas that they didn't count the knockdown. He's been knocked down by Adrian Bronner, and he's been hurt a couple of times too. So I'm just gonna put the icing on the cake, and I'm gonna finish him come Saturday night.
Now, are you bothered by him saying he wants to fight Pacquiao next, already overlooking this match?
If Pacquiao wants to fight my leftovers, he can fight Sean Porter next. He's definitely not leaving the ring with that WC belt.
See, I don't see that as a sign of disrespect. I see it as like Sean Porter is aware you may be too much for Pacquiao. Pacquiao, to me, at his age and where he wants something not as challenging as Errol Spence.
The way Pacquiao looked his last fight, I think, it'll be an entertaining fight between me and Pacquiao. I mean, he come off 2 big wins with Adrian Bronner and then Keith Thurman. So, me fighting him, he's a WA champion too. So that'd be another belt to add to my collection. So I would love to fight a future Hall of Famer like Pacquiao.
Hold on, I see you got your management team over here. Let me give you and them some advice. If you really want a shot at Pacquiao, hold Sean Porter up for a few rounds and make it look like you struggle.
Mayweather McGregor.
That would entice Pacquiao. If you go in here and destroy this guy the way I tend to think you are, I think it's hard for you to get fights.
Well, I guess I'm never going to get the Pacquiao fight then.
You can't do that. You can never measure in there like that. Like, let me have a little fun with you, build a business up.
Well, I don't get paid for overtime, so I got to get him. He has to go.
But you got to think, Pacquiao, man, look, respect to the legend, the living legend. Yep. That's how you get more watches. Like, you fighting Pacquiao as pay dirt. Put your promotional hat back on. Do you think Pacquiao wants to fight you?
I think the money right, he will. Pacquiao's fearless. He's a guy that's fought anybody. It's been shown throughout his whole career. And I definitely think he'll fight me as long as the money's right.
And I say this in all seriousness. Do you think it is because you are so skilled and have the power, does it make it harder for you to get guys to take fights with you?
Definitely. I'm skilled. I'm young. I have talent. And, I'm just all around a good fighter. So a lot of guys avoid me because I do look for knockouts. And I'm a fighter that will come forward and take risks just to stop you. So a lot of guys, shy away from that. But like I said, I'm becoming the man of the division. I'm becoming the money man of the division. It's my second pay-per-view fight. So, and I'm selling out. So they have no choice but to go through me.
Now, I know you're a big football fan, big Cowboys fan. Oh, yeah. Respect to that. They're undefeated right now. Is it going to end well for them like it always ends well for you? Are they going to be the Super Bowl champions this year?
I think so, definitely. I like what they've been doing. I like what Dak been doing. He's been throwing the ball. I love what our offensive coordinator been doing, our new offensive coordinator. So, and our defense looking good, too. So I see Super Bowl host for us.
All right, in 2019 or 2020, who's going to make more money, you or Dak?
Good one. You got to fight Pacquiao like 3 times if you're going to catch Dak right there.
Man, I don't know, man. Dak going to get paid. Dak's going to get paid.
Yeah, I saw you hanging out with Jerry Jones. Jerry got the money.
Yeah, Jerry gonna pay him. Jerry's known to pay his players, so he's definitely gonna get paid.
Errol,
at a time.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good luck on Saturday. Staples Center's gonna be off the charts this weekend. Joined now by Fox Sports college football analyst.
We are going there.
Joel Klatt. Let's move to Ann Arbor, where Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines are still reeling from their blowout loss to Wisconsin over the weekend. After the game, Harbaugh admitted his team was outplayed, out-prepared, and out-coached. And if you look back over Harbaugh's record, it definitely wasn't the first time since taking over in Michigan. Harbaugh has never beaten rival Ohio State. He's just 1-6 against ranked opponents on the road, 1-9 against top 10 teams, and 0-7 as an underdog. Joel, why aren't things working for Jim Harbaugh the way we thought they would at Michigan?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I thought they were working for a while. Basically until last year, the Ohio State game. They were working, and they were avenging some of those losses even last year and kind of their revenge tour mode. And then Ohio State, the kids say they stole their chain. Just like ripped it, just
chain
like
snatching.
They did. And
Debo.
They took something that was more than just a win in that game away from Michigan, and I think that they took their identity away from them. Very similar to when Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield finally got into a ring. Right? And there was 2 sides. People were like, man, I'm still a Tyson guy. I'm an Evander guy. And there was that moment when you could tell Mike knew he couldn't beat him. And so what did he do? He bit his ear, right? You know, and there's that moment. It feels like that moment for Michigan right now. It feels like that moment where the towel was thrown in, they changed philosophies, they try to go to the spread offense, and it's not working. So all the chips went to the middle of the table, and they said, this is going to be boom or bust. We're going to change offenses, and we're going to be modern. And it went bust. And we saw that on Saturday. They were awful on Saturday. They got outrushed by 316 yards, 316, and they were 0 for 10 on third down.
Urban Meyer calls it a lack of toughness. I agree with him. I've followed Michigan football since my head coach at Ball State was a longtime Bo Schembechler assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Our whole program's based off Michigan, so I followed Michigan.
Colorado was the same with Bill McCartney. And I played for Gary Barnett, who grew up under Bill McCartney.
So followed him since the mid-'80s. I've only seen that once. I saw a Brady Hoke team against Michigan State get completely out-toughed. I just saw Wisconsin do it. And the argument I've had earlier this week, Joel, was I said that the new culture in football of less practice, less contact.
Yeah, overall, you mean. Yeah,
overall, millennials a little bit different. The kids you're coaching different than the kids of our era. That some coaches just haven't been able to adjust because the old school way was just like, hey, team's not tough, we're going to go for 3 hours, full contact, and we're just going to beat toughness into. You can't do that anymore. And I'm wondering if that is Harbaugh's struggle in terms of instilling toughness. He doesn't know how to do it.
Listen, it's an interesting conversation. I do think it is fascinating. I guess if I was quickly playing devil's advocate, Wisconsin's tough. You know, so I don't think that's an...
Some coaches
some coaches can
can't.
do it. Maybe it's more about the style in which you try to bring that toughness out than it is about just trying to instill toughness in this sport, period. Because, listen, Wisconsin was tough. And that offensive line was really good on Saturday. There are other teams that are able to be physical as well. I will tell you, I think the modern day one athlete, two style of football puts a bigger onus and a bigger emphasis on recruiting because it's not just about getting talent anymore. Because you used to be able to get talent and then you could shape them and mold them through, hey, we'll send them out there for 3 hours, we'll do 2 a days, whatever it is. We can toughen up anybody. Just give me the skill and the talent requisite. Now, I think you've got to find the talent, but you've also got to find the right fit and the right kid to come to your program that is going to fit the style that you're trying to employ. Wisconsin certainly does that. Listen, all of their offensive linemen are from Wisconsin. You can tell they grow up wanting to look like Badgers, and get down there in the trenches and get dirty.
Yeah, it's interesting coming out of the NFL, going back to Michigan. I think one of the biggest issues people said was the white noise effect that he had in the NFL in terms of his messaging, how that kind of grew old at times, but that will play in college because of the turnover.
The cycle of players, sure.
Right, but when you see that chart and you start to see that they're not responding to adversity, they're not responding to big moments, that means this messaging is getting lost. My guess from the outside is looking at this. He's determined that he wants to be liked in a world where people need to be respected. And if you don't keep that healthy distance in the sport of football, think about all the people who have consistent results. They're respected, and they don't really dumb it down too much and close that gap in terms of how much you like them. There are moments where you appropriate anything to an 18-year-old and you bring in the Migos, but then you also don't run around with your shirt off and you don't do some of the things that make people question.
You've nailed it.
Where is this going? And I think when you lose that fabric, you lose a lot more than you think.
Nailed it. I was talking about this when in the moment when he was having sleepovers at recruits' house.
Yeah, there we go.
Wasn't he up in some tree house or something? Just a bunch of different things. And I was like, man, this dude's trying to be cute. And I'm like, Nick Saban ain't trying to be cute. Urban Meyer's not trying to be cute. Dabo Swinney's the only guy I see with a little bit of personality. But for the most part, he's cut from the same cloth as Nick Saban. I thought Harbaugh got out of character, wanted to be friends. When that head coaching job, it's for daddy, not for your friends.
It's interesting. I mean, I I do still, I had the chance to go to a practice at Michigan, which a lot of people don't get a chance to do. It wasn't this year, it was a couple of years ago, so I don't know what it looks like right now. But I will tell you, it was hard-nosed, and there was a lot of teaching on the grass going on, which in general does not endear yourself as a friend to the players, right? That's going to be more of the respected versus friend aspect. In that same vein, and away from this, I will say, if you're a coach out there, or a coach in general, coaches that are liked more by their former players and respected more by their former players are generally better coaches than the ones that their current players love them.
Yeah, I get you.
There's a big difference there, and I would much rather want my former players to come back and be like,
thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad was a legendary high school coach, and he's kind of seen this cultural shift that's gone on in football, and you say he's an assistant with your brother now. I just wondered, does he see a difference in young people and an approach that you have to take to get toughness out of them?
Absolutely. So just to give you some background, my dad was a first lieutenant in the Marine Corps and fought in Vietnam, and he was a first lieutenant of an artillery division. And so when he became a coach in the 70s in the Denver area at Pomona High School in Arvada, Colorado, he ran it like a military operation, and he was an assistant, then he became the head coach, and it was militaristic in the sense that we had to have our shoes shined, helmets shined, uniforms cleaned just to get on the bus. And we would have, inspection. You put the shoes out there. We would line up in double lines. We had the black line to start with where you couldn't cross the practice line until it was very regimented. There is no way you could run a high school football program like that now. And my brother doesn't. Even though that's the way he grew up and probably the way he would be more comfortable doing it, you literally cannot do that because the kids nowadays are not ready for that. They are not ready for that amount of accountability in every area of their life. What they want is freedom, and they want self-identity at all times. That's why their social media is so important to them, is because they want the individual aspect to really rise to the top much more than the team aspect in general. And it's something that I think is very different.
All right, we got our little brother over here, Darnell, 25, 26 years old. To me, when a head coach walks into a room, the kids should be a little bit nervous and scared. There should be anxiety. Shouldn't be happy to see the head coach. That's the way it was for me with any good coach. Particularly the head coach. There's some assistants I was happy to see. Head coach, never wanted to see. Just so you listening to a bunch of old guys sit up here and talk. Kids different now. What do they want from their head coach?
Yeah, man, I think it varies. I mean, from my perspective, and coming from Warren Central High School, the tradition has stayed the same. We had that hard-nosed coaching throughout high school and in college as well. So I'm used to that same way. Like you said, when a head coach walks in, I'm standing up, I'm sitting up straight. I'm a little nervous because out of respect, you don't want to be too friendly with a head coach because, like Joe said, if the coach is too friendly with the players, it's not going to bring out that mentality that you really want your players to have. And I grew up, I feel like the same way you guys are describing right now.
Fear works better than being liked.
In football, hell yeah. I'm scared. Go get it.
Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington are back. Let's move to the Carolina Panthers, who managed to weather their first week without Cam Newton, with Kyle Allen leading them to a dominant win over the Cardinals. Cam has already been ruled out for Sunday's game against the Texans, but he could be headed for a much longer absence. Reportedly, Cam is looking to avoid surgery on his injured foot, which could keep the quarterback sidelined for several more weeks. All right, the question here is, chances Cam starts another game this season for the Panthers?
Okay, square up with my face, because I'm about to tell y'all. The chances of that happening?
Oh, wow.
Low. 30%. I'm going to be real.
Wow.
We always hear about the big men in NBA. What's the worst injury they could have? Something to their feet. Cam, Adonis, big man for his position, 250, running like a 4.5. That's a lot of torque.
That's true.
That is all going to happen right at the ground level with his feet, his game. Is supported by his athleticism. We saw his athleticism wane last year. We saw the results. No more wins in the latter part of that season. So, unfortunately, because of this injury, the type and the difficulty of the extremities to heal because of the lack of circulation to your foot.
Oh, wow.
It's going to take him a minute. It's not going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? They basically said, hey, man, we're questionable coming into last week. Then Kyle Allen plays really good, and they go, he's going to be out for 4 weeks at least. like, right? They're like wanting to get back in this thing. I'm going to say 80%. Oh. He'll be back at some point. He'll be back, and he'll play again at some point. The other thing is.
What if Kyle Allen plays well?
I mean.
Well, listen, he did play well. Can he play well for 4 straight? I mean, I've seen a lot of flash in the pans that play well for 3 weeks and got big-time contracts, and the next thing you know, you realize who they are. Eventually, when you come in and nobody knows who you are, everybody takes this approach of, let's just see what this guy is. Then they start forcing you into your weaknesses. So we'll see. We'll see where he is. But he's Cam Newton. He's still making just a boatload of money. I think he's going to, at some point, he'll be healed, and at some point, he'll be back in playing quarterback.
Come on, man. Close up on that.
100%.
100. 100%. All right. Liz Frank, injuries. His job is on the line. His legacy, in a lot of ways, is on the line. He will be back. He will find a way to get back. He will play, if it's not 5, it may be 6, maybe 7 games. He'll be back this season, and he will start again this season.
Look, I'm going to tell you why I'm not. I tend to agree with you, but I'm not as certain as you or Mark. I'm going to go at 70%. And this number drops significantly if Kyle Allen leads them to victory this weekend. Yeah. If Kyle Allen leads them to victory this weekend, this goes down to 10%.
Oh, wow.
If not 5.
Yep.
And because
talk to me.
I'm just the thing with Cam, and again, I'm a Cam Newton fan. But his whole personality and the energy he puts out to his team has never been right. He's never been the leader. Marcellus, I think, talked about it yesterday or the day before when we talked about it in terms of does his personality fit the leadership model of a quarterback? And it never really has. And so if I'm Ron Rivera and that coaching staff and the front office and my job's on the line and Kyle Allen has led me to 2 victories and thrown some more touchdown passes. Remember Ron Rivera tried to have a little dress code and the quarterback wouldn't get on board with it and he had to bench him for the start of a game. There's already been problems with Ron and Cam in terms of leadership, and if they can get out from underneath that based off his health and Kyle Allen playing well, they're going to run with that opportunity.
Yeah, in the new NFL, there are people who lend themselves to the thought of let's have a cheap quarterback and build around them. Now, you have Cam already on the books, but you also got a guy who potentially can displace him, and Kyle Allen is making $495,000 and will be happy if you just even give him $750,000. We are going to try and poke holes in him. Mark is absolutely correct. We need a 4-game cycle before we can even, as a defense, come at you. But it's hard to poke right now. Right. I mean, 70-some% completion percentage, 144 rating.
If you look at the intermediate passes that he threw, the dimes that he threw within that game, the things that Cam Newton, frankly, hasn't done throughout his career, automatically you're looking at going, ooh. That looked different. I mean, I just watched the game. I broke down the game. Yeah. So I just watched it. Like, there was a significant difference in the accuracy, the timing of that offense with Kyle Allen. Now, Kyle Allen also has a history of not being able to stay healthy either. So, and Kyle Allen, by the way, is the guy who beat out Kyler Murray, who was the first overall pick, and Kyler Murray decided to go to Oklahoma. So there's no doubt that he's got some talent. If he can stay healthy and he can keep this up over time, you know, the better he plays over time, the longer this rehab is going to take from the organization.
I want to re-ask the question and just see if you would, if the Panthers win and Kyle Allen plays well this week, how would you adjust that number?
This week?
Yeah. Just one more week.
I wouldn't adjust it this week. If it happens the 3rd week and the 4th week, then it just keeps going. Hey, take your time. You know, don't rush this back, Cam. We need you here for the long term. Yeah, if he continues to play, it will start.
Kyle Allen wins this week. You coming off that 100?
No. This is blasphemous. This is horrible what you guys are doing right now. So are you guys saying that Cam is not a franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I think that, to be honest with you, yeah. I think people have said that.
He is a franchise
He's
quarterback.
30 and injury prone, LeVar.
He is a franchise
LeVar,
quarterback.
I'm not trying to crack jokes. I'm not trying to troll you. But again, you were the second overall pick, and Washington moved.
Thank you. Thank you, dude.
And Washington moved off of you.
Yeah, well, technically, that's a wrong.
Oh, don't do that. Here we go with this story.
I paid for my freedom.
Can I say this?
But go ahead.
I got something here that's kind of interesting. All right, remember last year Cam Newton 6-2, MVP, and then all of a sudden we were like, dude, he can't even throw like the Hail Marys and stuff. And then the injury, we knew he was injured.
Found out he was injured.
Okay, let's look at the scoring of this offense since he was injured. Whatever you want to call that. They have scored 30 plus points only twice. When Kyle Allen started at the end of the year, and last week when he started with 38 points. Everything else is less. This offense twice has shown we can put up 38 and 33. You let Kyle Allen play. Everything else is in the 20s and in the teens. Bruh, somebody upstairs is smart. They get this. They're like, we see this.
They can get out from underneath his contract at the end of this season as well.
Man. The problem with the discussion point is that when you get a guy in sample sizes, it goes back to Mark's point. When you get guys in sample sizes, you cannot get a fair, accurate assessment of what that guy is going to be.
But again, you're assessing Kyle Allen. Let's assess Cam Newton.
I'm assessing Cam.
But again, you talk about small sample size. There's a big, ample sample size of Cam Newton.
10 games.
And but whole career.
Whole career.
He's struggling to stay healthy at this point. That's what could drive this decision. And then they start thinking about, well, what does this look like next year? That's what can drive the decision of
like we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm sitting here. I feel as though there is some disrespect taking place with one Cameron and Cameron Newton. And the reality of it is we could talk about injuries. We can talk about some of the things he hasn't done production-wise. But this is still what we consider, to me, I consider him to be a franchise caliber, franchise level quarterback. I don't know when that changed or who that changed with.
When healthy.
But he is a franchise. I feel more comfortable thinking that I can win games with Cam as my quarterback rather than not. And I don't know enough about this Kyle Allen to sit there and say, I'm going to phase Cam out.
I'm going to tell you another reason why. I'm just telling you. And it's only been a couple of games. But they'll look over, man, you see Jacksonville? This Minshew dude they got out. You can get a young quarterback to come in if you have a team around him.
How many games has he won? I remember Robert Griffin III coming into Washington, D.C. Last number 2 pick was me at that pick. He had an amazing first year playing, one of the best
Cam
ever.
Was 26, I'd be right there with you. He's 30.
But he's a quarterback. The quarterback, the position there, he might find his better years.
Quarterbacks play.
My issue with him as a quarterback is that he has been a quarterback that has thrived in this league, and he's amazing when they've got 10 designed runs for him, the play action off those 10 designed runs, and there comes a time when it's an unsustainable form of offense because guys like you will try to decapitate guys like that, right?
It's true.
And so he survived it for a long time, but the battle of attrition that is playing in the NFL, and we've all gone through it, right? There was a time when you looked at yourself like, man, I can't do what I used to be able to do, and I better figure out a way to still be productive even though I can't do it. And I think that's where he is right now, and his quarterbacking skills, in my opinion, have never been good enough to overcome the lack of athleticism.
That's the thing, Lamar. Let's be real. It's the curse of the gifted. We all know that there's this balancing act typically with someone who's supremely gifted and those fundamentals. And what do you have to rely on in your latter years? Those fundamentals. And even when he was athletically based, we questioned the fundamentals. And now the athletic greatness is starting to wane. You think these are going to help supplant what he used to be? I don't think so, brother.
Before we go, I'd like to welcome home Wendell Brown after he spent 3 years inside a Chinese prison for his alleged involvement in a barroom altercation. Brown walked out of prison yesterday morning and landed at LAX airport around 8 last night. About a dozen people, including his mom, aunt, and myself, greeted him outside of Customs. It was an emotional, joyous reunion. Wendell, a Detroit native, is 32 years old. He played middle linebacker at my alma mater, Ball State. I met him when he was a kid, a freshman starter with aspirations of playing in the NFL. He reminded me of one of my best friends from my playing days at Ball State, Tim Walton, a middle linebacker from Detroit, who was the MVP of our team. Like Wendell, Tim was Detroit tough and determined to play in the NFL. Unlike Tim, Wendell never realized his NFL dream. Wendell's football passion carried him all the way to China, where he played and taught the game to kids. On September 24, 2016, Wendell was out with friends when a fight erupted inside a Chinese bar. Wendell, a criminal justice major at Ball State, was an American black man in a foreign land at the wrong place at the wrong time. He disappeared into an unforgiving and secretive Chinese criminal justice system that has a unique standard of due process and requires financial payoffs to accusers and victims. Wendell had no criminal history. He had witnesses and friends who argued he was the victim of the assault. None of it mattered. There was no trial for nearly 2 years. The trial went as expected. Convicted, the judge sentenced Wendell to 4 years. He'd already served 2. He was scheduled for release on September 24 of 2020. We worked within the Chinese system to recover a year of Wendell's life. It was worth it. The facts of the case do not matter to me. I've never been interested in hearing the details. I've been young and foolish and at the wrong place at the wrong time. Here's the thing people don't understand about incarceration. Family and friends do the time too. Wendell's mama and aunt did all 3 years with him. When someone you really love is locked up, it feels like your life has stopped. Your sleep is interrupted. Your heart hurts. You live in fear. Do not feel sorry for Wendell Brown. Be happy for his mama and his aunt. Be prayerful that he takes advantage of his second chance at life. Mark Schlereth and LeVar Arrington are back. Let's move to Buffalo, where we'll see a showdown between a couple of undefeated teams Sunday as the 3-0 Bills host the 3-0 Patriots. But that's not the only matchup of unbeatens this weekend. The surprisingly decent Detroit Lions will host the juggernaut, my Kansas City Chiefs. As of now, Fox Bet has both teams as underdogs, with the Lions getting 6.5 points and the Bills getting 7. The question here is, better chance of pulling the upset, Bills or Lions?
You already know where I'm going. Find my check stubs from 1997. Bills Mafia, baby. Buffalo Bills gonna pull off this upset. I'm lying. They got a better chance, though. They got a better chance. Look, the Patriots are rolling. That defense is historic right now, but I think Buffalo keeps this close, but...
Are the Bills for real? Is this
Are we still on camera?
Yeah.
No. You're trying to mess up my ambassadorship with the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, they're for real. But I mean, it doesn't matter how real you are. You play the Patriots right now. It's going to seem a little fake.
That's a great save.
I've been on TV for a minute.
Marcellus T.
You want score, too?
Yeah.
31-10. Look, no one scored a touchdown on the Patriots. 10 is a lot. I think
agree with that, Mark? Are the Bills for real? Is there anything?
I think the Bills are for real. I think you look at them defensively, they're physical, they're nasty up front on both lines of scrimmage. Yeah, there's the X factor is their quarterback. He can run. He's an athlete. You know, when things break down, he'll do that. Yeah, I think they're for real. I think the Bills got a better chance of pulling an upset. Like, I look at the Kansas City Chiefs right now, and they're like Globo Gym, you know, White Goodman. Like, we're better than you, and we know it, right? They're just so damn talented that I don't know how you cover them. They seem to be able to create 2 free touchdowns a game, every game.
Yeah.
So, now Detroit, defensively, their secondary is as good as there is in this league right now. They are really playing well. But again, it's Kansas City, and they can spread you 4 wide and say, we'll block you up, and there's not a whole lot you can do with our quarterback. So I'll give the Bills the better chance.
I'm going with the Lions. I mean, Pro Football Focus rated Wentz higher than Mahomes. So I'm leaning on the fact that, the Lions went into Philadelphia and beat a Carson Wentz-led team gives me hope that they could actually be at home and compete against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is my reasoning, and I'm sticking with that.
I'm going to give you a good reason. Honestly, this isn't me trying to do a reverse double jinx or whatever. The Lions, I believe, are going to beat the Chiefs.
Whoa.
Chiefs just came off an emotional, important game against the Baltimore Ravens. It's hard to get up week after week after week. Matt Stafford is a talented quarterback who hasn't really had the big game yet this year. Their defense has been playing very well. I think Detroit is a real team. That's why I think I'm a little suspect of the Bills. Josh Allen, that's great what he's done, but he's not Matt Stafford. I think the Lions are a real team. I think the Chiefs emotionally are going to be a little down from last week and having had to play the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Lions are going to take advantage of the Chiefs' defense, get up early, and hang on and win this game.
And they have to travel. I mean, you're leaving the confines of a really, really hard-fought game, and, I mean, they did very well. A lot of people didn't know they could.
Talk about the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, speaking of the Chiefs. So they're going on the road after a big win, like you mentioned. I mean, that could be an emotional letdown. Sometimes it's hard to go into a hostile environment.
Yeah, in Buffalo, tier 1 in terms of hostility, which you could do up there in Orchard Park. Shout out to Orchard Park gang. Tom Brady's been almost perfect this year. Yeah. And he's beaten
against bad teams.
Right. Well, Buffalo's been against bad teams as well. The teams they played against are 1-8. The teams the Patriots played against 0-9. Toilet bowl opponents. Both of them. But Tom Brady's better than he was, and he's already beaten the Bills 5 straight. Ooh, that's what's tough.
You notice I didn't even mention the Patriots. You notice I didn't even say the Patriot name.
Yeah.
I didn't even use the word. The machine.
Yeah.
There's no feelings.
I wouldn't be shocked, and I think the Lions are going to win. I wouldn't be shocked if both teams lost, if the Patriots and the Chiefs both lost.
That sounds like something we can pour.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that one.
Say that. Come on,
I'm not giving away no more.
I will take that one. I didn't take the bet last week, but I'll take that one.
Say it with your chest next time.
What do you think of my emotional letdown for the Chiefs?
No, I mean, again, I keep watching them on film, and you can't. I don't even know.
There is no emotional letdown.
There's no emotional. You know what? You know what emotional? You know what's not emotional? 4-3 down the seam. That ain't emotional, right?
It's emotional for somebody.
For the guy chasing.
Yeah, it's emotional for somebody.
Right.
Uncle Jimmy's here.
You know.
Help us talk about Aaron Rodgers approval rating. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers. You got cheap. Who's your big dummy of the day?
What you wearing?
Yeah.
Look here, man. Big dummy of the day. Go to the person that made a Kerry Washington analogy.
Yeah.
You sure you wasn't talking about Kerry Underwood?
I was talking about Kerry Washington.
If you know something about Kerry Washington, then it definitely would be a scandal. I don't think you know nothing about no Kerry Washington. You probably was thinking about Kerry Underwood.
Shout out to Namdi. What's up, man?
Come on, man.
Namdi wife.
Let's talk Aaron Rodgers, who is yet to have an Aaron Rodgers-like performance so far this year. Despite leading the Packers to a 3-0 start, Rodgers will take on the Eagles and their vulnerable secondary tomorrow night. Marcellus, you think Rodgers has a breakout game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think his words are going to resonate in the building. Matt LaFleur is like, all right, let's unleash Aaron Rodgers on them. Eagles defense giving up 26 points per game, so they're susceptible for a high-flying offense like Aaron Rodgers can be if you give him a little freedom.
You think Matt LaFleur's been holding him back?
Damn right. He's been phasing them out. We talked about that in the A-Block. Are you that old? You forgot the first?
I ain't forgot, but
He's
what's
phasing
the
them out.
motivation for Matt LaFleur to hold him back?
Defense. Defense, no turnovers. Defense, that's what they're doing.
Uncle Jimmy, is he going to break out tomorrow?
Look, man, this reminds me of an old biblical adverb I learned when I was a kid.
Adage.
It said that when I was a child, I did childish things. It said that, but once I became a man, I had to put away those childish things.
Yeah.
Now, see, I had to learn this the hard way.
A parable.
Because I was one of them little badass kids that used to tie a towel around my neck, and I thought that if you ran fast enough, the towel would move and would make you fly.
Yeah.
Well, I jumped off the roof one time, and I found out real quick that didn't work that way.
That towel didn't work.
And one of my daddies came up to me. I couldn't remember which one it was. And he said, "It's all right, son. You just had on the wrong cape." Well, that's what Aaron Rodgers need to learn. The days of the discount double check, they done. Don't listen to my dumbass nephew and think that you still Superman, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, that's deep. I see you.
You're not.
Get off the roof.
Look here, man, you ain't no different at this very moment than Cam Newton. I had to tell him, put them little dumb Superman antics up. Stop all that dabbing. Play some football. How about winning a game? See, Aaron Rodgers, you ain't a kid no more, man. This ain't 2011. You know, we understand that you got pieces of your collarbone scattered all up and down Lambeau Field.
Lambeau.
In case you ain't realized, you ain't the standard, Aaron. Patrick Mahomes is now the standard.
Man.
Aaron, don't be a fool.
I agree with that.
Look, don't think that the power's in the cape. You need to realize, son, the power's in the coach. Let me put it to you like this. If Uncle Jimmy been in this game long enough to admit, I need the little blue pill, and Aaron Rodgers, you been in this game long enough to admit you might need a little coach.
Coach over Cape.
There it is.
Coach over Cape.
I like that.
Hey, it ain't no shame in admitting you need a little help. Hey, a strong diet of blue M&Ms requires a strong diet of little blue pills.
Half a pill or the whole pill? No, let me stop.
We need them ones that look like blue M&Ms. I'm gonna tell you.
The big pill.
Them big ones.
Them XL.
Yeah. I see you know.
Let me get to my approval rating
Allegedly.
for Aaron Rodgers.
Adverb.
I like this. Coach over Cape. I like this. That's good advice.
All right.
A 17 in job performance. Keep him the same in, that's down 3 points. Keep him the same in all-time greatness, 22. Character stays the same. I raise him up a point in authenticity. He's Aaron Rodgers, man. This dude, he likes to go at it with his coach.
We got them both at all-star level, but
Yeah,
authenticity goes down because he's lying. He know he mad at this system. He mad he getting phased out. You ain't got to lie to me. Character goes up for handling it and waiting a few weeks before you even said, I'm mad at this system. Job performance goes down as well. 235 yards for Aaron Rodgers. That's his best game.
All right, look, the internet agrees with us.
Yeah.
Twitter we're all at all-star level for Aaron Rodgers. Finally, agreement amongst us all.